amidst this epic disaster. How are you, people? Thanks for joining us here on this day. I want to say Monday, but I always forget. People might be listening to it at a totally different time than Monday.
That's true. And we're actually not recording on a Monday. We're recording on Easter Sunday. No,
we're not.
We're not.
Easter Sunday Eve.
Easter Sunday
all
Eve.
of our dates are completely screwed up.
I'm screwed up.
One thing we know for sure is we have a cold beer here waiting for us, and we're going to crack it open.
Let's do that. Let's do that first.
We have a live beer review. If you don't know what the live beer review is, then you must be new, because we've been doing this since way back on the old podcast.
Which means welcome. Thank you for joining.
Yes, I know we got some new people because our numbers are kind of going up a little bit, which is nice.
Notice that too.
And if you were listening to the podcast, you're like, what kind of podcast is this? We're still trying to figure out what kind of podcast this is.
We don't know. We're just
we
a
don't
disaster
know.
at this point.
It's basically, what would you say? We're kind of a chat podcast. Is that right?
Yeah.
We talk about things.
Stuff.
We talk about culture.
People.
We talk about things that other people don't want to talk about.
Each other.
We talk about each other. We just talk.
It's like what you listen to just to keep yourself awake on the way to work.
Kind of. It's like if you were sitting in a bar or a restaurant and you were listening to the people behind you talk.
That's what you're going to hear.
That's what it is.
It's basically a reason for Rick and I to get together once a week, have a beer, and chat.
And today's beer
Is it's called Maudite.
Maudite.
It's a Belgian-style double ale.
Uh-huh.
It's by Unibroue.
You know what?
Unibroue.
Oh, okay.
Unibroue.
I gotcha.
Unibroue.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8% alcohol by volume.
Ooh,
Thank you.
nice.
This is ale brewed with spices. Now, we've had one of theirs before of this series.
I kind of remember.
It was the Findemund.
Findemund.
Yes, thank you very much. And I remember us enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. Now, that one had a higher alcohol content because I bought it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just remember I saw this and I was just like, this looks like an interesting brew. So
They have a whole series of them.
Oh, you've already poured yours.
And I love the artwork on these
now.
beers. This has what appears to be a demon with his arms crossed. And then over that is a boat with some rowers.
Ship.
Row, you bastard.
Demon and ship. I never even saw the demon.
Wow.
There it is.
There it is. All right. So I'm going to taste mine. It's
Taste
pretty.
it. It's light. It's
pretty.
kind of light. It's not very dark.
It's a Belgian-style double.
Yeah. Okay. What's it smell like?
Belgian.
Kind of smells.
It smells like a Belgian.
Got a little, I was going to say kind of a sour smell, but not really.
Well, it's going to have a bit of a sour taste to it because it's a Belgian.
Okay.
It's a double. It's actually one of my favorite kinds of beer.
Okay.
So thank you.
Nice.
Nice. You did well.
How was your week? How was your week? All right. So this is Easter, the day before Easter.
Right.
And when this comes out, Easter will be gone.
So
Easter
let
be over.
me say how
We'll
my
talk
week
about
was,
Easter.
because last podcast I told you that I had just gotten back from Denver.
Right.
And we discussed my vacation.
That is correct.
And then that night I went home and got the flu.
Uh-oh.
So I didn't go back to work
Okay.
until Thursday. So
Why
I've
did
only
you
been
pull
to
the
work
light over?
so the
next to
toffee
you?
can't get under the desk.
Oh, I got you.
It's blocking the
I was
dog.
like, you do know that light is off, don't you?
Yes.
It can't be showing any. Okay, I got you.
It's not about the light. It's about the dog.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, yeah, you got the flu.
I did, and I think it was the flu. And so I didn't go back to work until Thursday, so I worked 2 days this week. Last week, I worked 3. So I made up a whole week in 2.
Well, I know we were supposed to record earlier, and you kept saying you weren't feeling well.
I wasn't up for it, even after I did go back to work, working
I think
a
you
whole
get
day.
sick a lot.
I think I do, too. I think it's time to maybe see a doctor,
Oh,
because I haven't seen a doctor in like 3 or 4 years.
wow.
like that.
So it's like serious sick, you think?
I don't know.
It seems like little spells and stuff.
I have cancer of the body.
Body cancer.
I have
It's
body cancer.
a terrible thing. So yesterday, my wife says to me, I'm sorry I didn't, no, it was today. She said, I'm sorry I didn't get you an Easter basket.
Why would she get you an Easter basket?
I don't know. I kind of got the heebie-jeebies
It's
a little
kinda
bit.
creepy.
It's
Yeah.
kind of weird. And then I started to remember, did you get Easter basket when you were a kid?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, every Easter. Okay, and so I feel like some parents really like to go overboard with the whole Easter thing. My parents did. Yours too?
But we weren't religious.
I mean,
it was just
but
for
you
the
said
Easter.
you've told me before that they didn't do that for Santa Claus.
No, they would tell us, well, no, they did do a little overboard. I mean, they didn't lie to us about Santa Claus, but the gifts we got from quote unquote Santa were really good gifts. But we knew they were from our parents. And just like with Easter, we knew that basket was from my mom.
Yeah.
And it was sitting outside our door when we got up in the morning.
It's not too much of a stretch if you're a kid to think that some dude might bring you presents, okay? Regardless of what the whole legend is and all this stuff, you can think maybe, possibly, a dude brings you presents. Big fat guy in a red suit would be whatever.
Used to.
I know, but I'm just saying that's okay. Understand? But to think that a bunny, a rabbit, brings baskets full of candy to you, really tells you how much of an idiot kids are.
Right. Well,
that we would believe anything as long as someone told it to us.
See, my sister and I were very non-believers when it came to stories of mythology. And the reason is because, I think, partly to do with the fact that my mother used to make and sell costumes.
Yeah.
So she used to make and sell costumes of the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. And, I mean, she owned a costume shop for a time. And
so you knew something was up.
We knew that people were just dressing up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we knew it was fake. And I've always known it was fake. But my mom used to make amazing Easter baskets.
Uh-huh.
We used to get, she'd buy the basket.
Fancy schmancy?
Fancy schmancy basket. But then she would put that plastic green grass in there. Mm-hmm. But she would shove things in the grass. So you had to dig for it. And we got probably 25 different types of candy in our baskets. We always got a solid chocolate bunny, always. And we always got a big stuffed animal. It was either a bunny or a ducky or something like that. Thankfully, she never tried to buy us a real animal. And if you do that, if you buy your kids a bunny or a chick on Easter, I don't like you.
We, my parents had 7 kids.
Right.
So there were 7 to deal with, and we each would color eggs. And I remember us having somewhere between 4 and 6 eggs apiece. So do the math there to find out how many dozens of eggs that had to be.
The coloring of the eggs.
Yes.
We used to color eggs either the day before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, normally the day before, because Easter's on a Sunday, so we'd had all day Saturday. Now, but we would do 3 dozen. And this is just, we had 2 kids.
Yeah.
2 kids.
And you would eat all of them at once. So a half dozen eggs stuck in your mouth, plus the candy. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the most unhealthiest
Did you guys
of the
do
holidays.
Easter egg hunts?
Sometimes, not often. I think when we were little, like in our yard and stuff, we would do stuff like that. But here's what I'm interested in. A couple of things. And this is a tangent a little bit, which was when you colored your eggs, so you had like red and purple and green. So as a child, did you save your favorite color to last, or it almost became like a flavor? It's like, I'm gonna eat the green one because I colored that one really nice.
Yes,
I'm gonna eat that one last.
And then if you draw on it with a wax crayon, and then you dip it in,
write
the food
someone's
coloring.
name on it.
Yes, and we all had
eat it, and then they die.
No.
Oh, you didn't do that?
No.
Oh, maybe it was just us.
No, we didn't It wasn't like voodoo eggs.
Voodoo eggs. Voodoo Easter.
No, mm-hmm. We would write on them. We would draw on them. My mother would do very intricate designs.
Your mom was like, "You don't know how to color. Give it to me. Let me do it."
Well, she's an artist. I was raised by an artist. What are you gonna do? She was a disgruntled artist. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. So even worse. And she would draw on them, and then we would dip them, and we had fun, and it was all great. We never did plastic eggs in my house. Never.
I don't think we did either.
Plastic eggs.
Right.
But what we would wake up to when we opened our bedroom door, there would be a basket sitting outside, like I just described. But then there would be real eggs, boiled eggs, hidden all over the house.
Yeah.
And so our job was to find every single egg.
And hope you do.
Well, one year we didn't.
Oh, man.
We did not find an egg.
Yeah.
And it was a good month.
Oh, you'll eventually find it.
Eventually, there was a scent that led us right to it. Mm-hmm. I say a month, but I was 7. I don't remember. It was a hot minute, and And then we would get up, we would get dressed, we would have breakfast, blah, blah, blah. And then we would go outside and do another Easter egg hunt.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a good time. Now, it was always just us. It was never like other family members. It was just the four of us. I don't know, we weren't religious, so Easter wasn't like a family holiday. It was just a day.
So for me, there's an embarrassment. Because I don't have really a problem with the whole Santa Claus thing, but the fact that I would allow myself to believe that a bunny, a rabbit, would bring that stuff is a source of embarrassment. So even if you believe in a leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, can believe in skeletons and witches, but to believe that a freaking bunny would load up and bring baskets. Mm-hmm. That really shows the extent of a child's imagination, that a child would believe that.
I saw a meme the other day that was funny that you just reminded me of, is if you are ever feeling stupid, pardon me.
Cough.
If you're ever feeling stupid, consider the fact that Little Red Riding Hood actually thought she was talking to her grandmother when she was talking to a wolf dressed up as a grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of on that same level. Although Little Red Riding Hood didn't exist, and I actually existed and believed that
Well,
stuff.
you do still actually exist.
Yeah. I'd rather have not, but, I did.
How long?
For way too long.
Now, we know that you were, 10 or 11 when you discovered that Santa Claus was no longer a thing.
Yeah. It was 12, probably.
You were in 6th grade.
Yeah, and it's all together. Once you find out, it's the dominoes. You find out one, and all of them go.
So you're telling me
that's
here
what I'm
now
saying.
that you believed a bunny brought you
telling you-
baskets until you were 12 years old.
Yes.
What?
I feel like if I had ever said there's no Easter Bunny or Tooth Fairy or whatever, then the whole thing all of it would
like
come
a house
out.
of cards. It would have crumbled.
If my parents admitted that they lied about one, then they've lied about all of them.
Wow. You thought a bunny brought you a basket, like an actual bunny.
Let's play a freaking game. All
how
right.
how big did you think the bunny was?
Let's play a game.
No, I want to know how
I
big.
got to get my mind off of this.
I want to know how big you thought the bunny was.
I don't know. I didn't. All right. Would you rather? Let's play some Would You Rather.
All right.
I'm going to drop
first.
a stone here.
Yeah, I'll ask you a question first.
I'm going to drop a stone.
Can't believe you thought the bunny was real.
Shut up.
I've
I'm
never
dropping
thought the
stone.
bunny was real.
Blue.
It's blue. Okay, so the blue question
I blew it.
for Would You Rather is having to do
How
with
big is the bunny? No.
Oh, would you rather
Uh-huh.
Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny have been real?
You just made that up.
I did.
No, that's not a question.
All right. Would you rather be attractive yet always take a bad photo? I mean, that's for everybody, right?
Kind of.
I never take a good photo.
I take. Okay, go ahead.
Or would you rather never be as good looking as your photo?
It's 6 of one, half a
Right.
dozen of the other. I think it's basically the same thing.
I mean, we look different than we do in photographs.
Yeah, what does it matter? I guess what matters is, like, if you're on a dating site, somebody's like, that guy's hot, and then they meet you in person, they're like,
No.
And that happened a lot to me, not dudes, but I feel like a lot of times I would meet somebody and be like, okay,
Yeah.
I see where they stretched the truth
Yep.
in their photo a little bit.
Yep.
It's still them, but it's them in 8th grade.
And then
or it's them through a filter, or it's them through this,
Or
whatever.
it's
I
them
see it.
from above.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
You see a lot of that.
That's a good one.
You see a lot of that.
Yeah, I use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's my
I
turn.
don't know. I don't know that it matters.
Well, you just said it didn't
I
matter.
want to be.
That was your answer.
I think I'd rather be good looking and not take a good photograph, because I rarely take photographs, so that
Same.
wouldn't happen all the time.
Same. Actually, I do agree with you there, because I would rather somebody see me in person and walk up and say hello.
I kind of think it's that way anyway.
Yeah.
I think I'm much better looking in real life.
I think everybody is, because you can be animated, you exist, you're real, you have squishiness, and you have like plumpness, and you have, well, I do.
Squishiness. It's your squishiness factor.
It's the squishiness.
She's much squishier in real life than I imagined.
I mean, everybody about me says that. Everybody. She's much squishier in real life.
All right, let's see what you got. Drop your stone.
All right. I want a red one.
Red one. I wonder what the odds are that I can actually read this without glasses.
Slim.
For some reason this week, I've really needed my glasses. I've had a lot of trouble reading. All right, your red one is pain, fear, and discomfort.
Okay.
Would you rather make it into the Guinness Book for surviving the most shark attacks
What? No.
or the most lightning strikes?
Lightning strikes.
Well, here's the thing.
That took me a second. Lightning strike.
You survived them.
Right.
So if you survive the most shark attacks, does that mean the shark actually bites you or
Yeah.
you got out before it bit you?
You were attacked by a shark.
I know, but it doesn't have to actually bite you.
Well, how else is a shark going to attack you? Is it going to smack you with its fin?
It could. If you're on the beach and a shark even nuzzles you, you would call it a shark attack.
I wouldn't. I would
think
call it a
everybody
nuzzle.
would. No.
I would call it a cuddle myself.
No, I don't think so.
I would call it a sniff.
Lightning strikes?
Yes. Absolutely.
I don't know. Either one.
Think about the rush.
But I feel like with lightning strikes, you actually get some superpowers.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe that one might be cool because
And not like last week's horrible superpowers, like good superpowers.
I would like to know what the Guinness Book of Record for these would
Says,
be.
yeah.
I mean, like if lightning strikes, let's just say maybe 5. It means you would have to beat that.
Could you
It'd have to be
imagine
5.
if you had been struck by lightning 5 times?
No.
Wouldn't you just give up going outside at
I
that
think
point?
after 2, I would just stay in the house. I used to be so afraid when I was a kid because I used to hear about these stories about lightning, like balls of lightning
Yes.
that would come in through your window.
What is that called? There's a name for that.
Lightning balls.
No.
That was also my high school nickname.
Lightning ball.
Yes. But I heard that
That was the dog, not
yes,
Rick.
That wasn't my lightning balls. I heard that lightning would come in through the window and it would form like this ball and it would like
Yes.
all across the floor.
It's a thing.
And they were like, do not touch it because
No.
you would die.
What is it called?
I can't remember. But
Toffee wants to tell us what she thinks it was called.
yeah, that was your dog trumpeting.
She does that a lot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that used to scare me, and you don't hear that with sharks. No shark comes busting through your window and
Land
flaps
shark.
on the floor and just
Land shark.
don't touch it. It'll bite you. It'll eat you.
It could.
Yeah.
Sharknado. It happens. It happens on film. They have it on film.
What, sharks going through the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a movie. It's called a movie.
They also have it where a shark will knock on your door. And when you answer the door and say, who is it? They're like, land shark.
All right. Well, that's Would You Rather for this week.
Done. Done and done. Hey, I'm going to a party tonight.
Are you?
I
a
am.
Party?
A party.
Like a Halloween party? Easter party?
Halloween.
Easter parties, what would be involved with an Easter party? You show up.
Well, it's not an Easter party. It's a help me drink my
Jesus.
beer
You have
party.
to dress like you're being crucified. You have to dress
I wonder
like
if I should.
the Easter bunny.
I wonder if I should.
I don't think anybody would find it funny.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what kind of party are you going to?
Well, it's just a party about helping him drink his beer.
What?
It's a listener of ours.
Oh, and you're going? Does he make beer?
No.
So he just has a bunch of beer, and he's like, I need some help drinking this.
So here's what happened.
Yeah.
Last weekend,
Listener, does he have a nickname?
he does not have a nickname. He has a name.
Okay.
His name is Donnie.
Okay.
Donnie got married last weekend or the weekend before. And people brought beer. Or they stocked beer. I'm not sure which. Either way, there was a bunch left over.
Yeah.
So he says, let's throw a party.
Okay.
Help me drink my beer. So I'm going to his house
To have a bunch of beer
to have some beer.
on this Easter Eve.
I may not actually drink the beer. I might bring something else to drink.
Is there a lot of different beers, or is it just like one
There,
specific
he
kind of
showed a
beer?
photo of the refrigerator in his garage.
And it's a lot of beer.
It's a lot of beer.
Okay.
None of which looks very appetizing.
Oh, really? What is those? So like Coors Light and
Yeah,
Bud Light and
yeah,
Miller Light
lots
and
of that kind
all
of
that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll bring one of these.
Okay.
Maybe.
Not a bad beer.
We'll see.
Okay.
So, anyways, that's what I'm doing tonight. It should
Yeah.
be fun. Thanks for the invite, Donnie. And I'll let you guys know about how it goes.
If you survive it.
If I might not even make it. You never know. I might be like, meh, I don't want to go to a party. Or,
But now you can't go because you've talked about it on the show. You can't make an excuse because you said he's a listener.
He is.
So you can't say I had a headache because he's going to be like, no, because I heard you on the podcast, and
Right.
you might not even want to go.
Well, I wouldn't lie to him about it. I would just say, not feeling like going to your party.
Like I'm not feeling well, and I would suggest you don't listen to this week's podcast. How about that?
How about that? No, I'm going. I'm definitely going to go.
Well, one thing that happened this week that I read about, I was kind of curious about it. I don't know if you read this.
What?
Scientists have figured out how to restore brain activity in piggies.
After they're dead?
After they're dead.
After they've died.
Pigs die for whatever reason. Just, I guess, old age, whatever.
Sure.
The pigs are dead. And the scientists have figured out how to restore brain activity like 4 or 6 hours, whatever, after they're brain dead.
Please tell me that they didn't kill the pigs to do the testing.
No. Well, I don't know that. They do all kinds of weird, crazy stuff on pigs.
I know.
But I think they did it by forcing them to watch Jeopardy.
I love Jeopardy. Wait, what are you trying to say?
It brings back the brain dead, Jeopardy. It's activity.
Really?
Yeah. It's a bad joke. Anyway, so now, from what I understand, and I've got the article here, but I'm not going to read the whole article on the podcast. From what I understand is they basically got the brain activity working again. The pigs did not get up and walk around and live. It's not like they died and boom, they came back to life and then they're going back out to the farm.
So the activity that they restored didn't cause the animal to start breathing again,
right? Or
their heart beating again.
I don't know if those things happened, but it wasn't like the pig came back to life.
Okay.
In a sense that we might say come back to life.
But synapses were firing.
Yeah, and I think that's what they feel like is important. They feel like that it might have long-range applications for people with brain damage or people who, might have had some problems. Anyway,
How did they do it?
I don't know. It was with chemicals. I think they actually removed the brain and they put it.
So clearly, the pig
chemicals.
didn't start breathing again.
No, and the whole object again, the whole thing was to try to get the brain to be sending signals again and
producing
chemicals or whatever that
firing.
All the stuff the brain does.
Yes,
it was experimental. It wasn't a Frankenstein or Frankenpork, Porkenstein. I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Porkenstein.
It wasn't like that. They were just trying to get some brain stuff going again after 6 hours of just complete deadness.
Okay,
and then the brain's going again, and there was no consciousness from what they said. The pig wasn't like, "Hey, I'm back."
So I have well, the pig wouldn't have done that anyways, unless it was a talking pig, in which case,
Arnold Ziffel.
Right. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Mm-hmm.
So what just popped in my mind, though, when you said Porkenstein, is an amazing drawing that I think you should do, and we should do a T-shirt.
Okay.
Porkenstein.
You want a Porkenstein shirt?
I want a Porkenstein shirt.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Well, I was thinking about, because this is a weekend of Resurrection.
I mean, it is, I guess.
It's probably not one that you want to bring pork into, although I always thought it was weird that people would eat ham on Easter. And although Easter is kind of a Christian holiday,
sure.
Christianity didn't come in until much later.
Right.
These were all still Jewish people who wouldn't have eaten pork.
Wasn't it? Wait, is Passover and Easter the same thing, or is Passover and Good Friday the same thing?
Passover is a Jewish observance of when God passed over the houses that had been marked with blood,
right?
In order, like Moses had instructed them to do,
right?
And there's more to it. I'm not Jewish. I don't know all of the tradition, but that's basically it.
Uh-huh.
And they usually fall about the same time.
Okay.
Not coincidentally, I would think, but and so. Easter is an interesting holiday in that it is the foundation of Christianity. I mean, if he hadn't come back, it's kind of over.
Right?
I mean...
Because, that makes sense.
But it's also maybe the biggest stretch of belief in Christianity. I mean,
also
second
true.
Only, and maybe not even second, to the fact that the same person who came back to life was born from someone who never had sex.
Right.
So both of those things, the foundation of Christianity, take a little bit of intellectual dodging.
And then the rest of the book basically takes a lot more.
Maybe.
Some parts, like where they put every existing, species on a boat.
Yeah.
That part.
I do know even a couple of Christian pastors, or maybe a little more Orthodox, who believe that there's a possibility that maybe, and there is a theory that Jesus didn't actually die,
Right.
He was in a coma, or he was really
Right.
out of it. And then while he was in the tomb, he came back to life.
He came to. Yeah.
I would feel like, though, he wouldn't be in a very good mood or in a good state
He'd
if
be
that
really
happened.
hungry.
How did the big stone get moved? Someone had to help that.
Right,
And
right.
Jesus had to be really strong or whatever.
So is it offensive if I say, if that's the case, that Jesus coming back, being resurrected, is like the very first ever zombie?
You're allowed to
story.
believe what you believe. And even if you're a Christian and you're talking about the events that happened in a Muslim holiday, you would say, maybe it did and I don't know. I wasn't there if
Right.
it did.
Right.
So I think for us, and for me, my whole life up until a few years ago was involved in studying Christianity and everything. So, but there's no way of knowing. There is, and that's why they call it faith, I suppose. There is a leap that you have to do in order to accept certain things.
Correct.
In almost any religion.
Correct.
And this is a big leap, but it is the foundation. This is a leap you almost have to make.
Right.
In order to believe Christianity. Unless, of course, you just believe you follow the teachings of Jesus, and you believe that those are true, and you believe what he taught was true. But the whole resurrection and
May not be.
that might
something
not
that
be
you
something in your particular interpretation of Christianity that's as
Okay.
valuable.
Like maybe you just think Jesus was a really cool dude and he had some good things to say.
A great teacher,
Right.
Maybe. I mean, his teachings on their own have some value.
Absolutely.
There's a great book for me when I was going through all this stuff called The Christian Agnostic by Leslie Weatherhead. Check it out if you have doubts.
Okay.
But basically it was a long book and long-winded. But basically it was about how you can still be a Christian and not believe every single thing
Right.
that some evangelical Christians say that you have to believe.
But wouldn't that then make you not a Christian, but just a good person?
Sometimes, and again, it's open to interpretation. Some people believe you have to believe every single thing in the Bible,
Right.
but there's no rules.
Okay. So has anybody actually ever been resurrected?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about, because when you think about how fantastic the story of resurrection is, I started thinking, I wonder if there have been other instances of people coming back to life.
Right.
I don't know of any personally.
Well, I don't know of any actual resurrections. I do know the basis of zombie myth.
Yeah.
Which is basically, it started in Haiti when people would go into a coma and come out and they didn't understand it, and then they said they were zombies.
There are always stories of these kind of things within all religions,
Right.
of people coming back to life. But I never, and that was my frustration with Christianity, is there are always stories.
Yes.
And nothing ever happened before my face.
Right.
And that was ultimately one of the reasons why I just said, okay, I'm done with that.
All right.
But anyway, here's if you need some stories of resurrection for your post-Easter celebrations,
Let's hear them.
I got some right here.
I'd love to.
Number one, Matthew Wall, who was a farmer on October 2nd, 1571. That's how long ago this was.
A while back, yeah.
Recently deceased young farmer Matthew Wall was laying in a coffin on the way to his own funeral, as we all have done. Even though the day was cool, even though the day was cool and damp, the whole village of Broffing in Hertfordshire was out for the event, including Wall's distressed fiance.
Aw.
As the procession made their way to the church, one of the pallbearers slipped on the wet leaves, dropping the coffin to the ground. The commotion was surprising, but when the men lifted the coffin again, this creeps me out. They were even more shocked by what they heard next. The sound of knocking. Matthew had come back to life and was banging on the walls of his own coffin.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking happened. This is my interpretation of that story, and this might make me look like a cynic. That's fine. Here's what I'm thinking. You said fiance.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps he was trying to get out of the wedding by faking his own death. And when they dropped him, he thought that they had actually put him in his grave. So then he was knocking for his, cohort to help him out.
Well, I mean, that's a story, I guess. That kind of...
That's where my mind
It's
goes.
more of an insight on how you view relationships, I think. That's what I would look at it. I kind of feel like maybe he might have had some sickness or something. He was in a coma. This was 1571, so they didn't have a lot of they didn't have heart monitors and things like that.
It's really hard to say what death is, and back then they may not have had a determination of what death is until you start rotting.
And then you drop the coffin and you just knock some sense back into the people. But I'm just thinking, what if that didn't happen and he's in a coffin and he's buried alive?
Oh my gosh.
And then no one hears you, because when you're buried alive, no one hears you scratching at your coffin.
No one can hear you scream.
Anyway, I wouldn't say that was an actual resurrection, though.
No. That was more probably of like a shock back to life, like a restarting of the heart.
So number one, we can kind of eliminate. All right, number two, Anne Green, convicted child killer in 1650. All of these are old. Anne Green was convicted of murdering her bastard child and hiding its body at her boss's house. Soon she was sentenced to death by hanging and led to the gallows, where she was fitted for a noose. For her last words, she proclaimed her innocence and begged, "Sweet Jesus, receive my soul."
Okay.
That's going to be my last words, too. After the hangman kicked the little stool out from under her, her body was left hanging for an hour. During this time, her pals reportedly thumped her on the breast. So she died, and they're taking advantage of her boobs.
Right.
Way to go, friends.
I mean, they're pals.
Hung with all their weight upon her legs, lifting her up and then pulling. What the hell were they doing to this woman while she was dead?
Trying to get her down.
Lifting her up and then pulling her down again with a sudden jerk, which seems very rude to me, but apparently they were trying to
Wait, were these her friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit her on the chest really hard. Pull on her legs.
Let's all hang from her.
No wonder they come back to life. That's her test of death right there.
Oh, my God.
Eventually, her lifeless body was cut down, taken to a doctor. Just as the doctor prepared to slice her open, her corpse groaned, "Hallelujah!"
What?
Yeah.
So, wow.
They warmed her body, poured hot cordials in her mouth. What?
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol will do it every time.
It's always about alcohol. And, So, and then she came back to life.
That's cray.
It's amazing.
That's weird.
Once again, though, I gotta say, I'm not sure it's actual resurrection.
No, I think it was more of she was passed the hell out, and then you started yanking on her.
I know.
Right?
That'd bring me back to life anytime somebody
gosh.
starts yanking on me.
Well,
all right, St. Odrin, in 548 AD, again, long time ago, in Scotland, they wanted to build a chapel. This is Iona, Scotland. They wanted to build a chapel near an ancient burial ground. The problem was, no matter what they did, the work they constructed was destroyed each night, so they had to start over again the next day.
Why would you? That's the definition of insanity.
I guess. Eventually, a guy named Columbia.
Not Christopher.
I don't know. Columba.
Oh, okay. Columba.
Columba? Okay. He got it into his head that if they buried someone alive in the foundation, they would be able to finish building the chapel.
Who? What?
This guy's just like, we can't do this. And he's like, maybe if you just bury someone in the foundation, that'll
while
do it.
While they're still alive.
That's and that's a guy you don't want as your friend.
No.
And they're like, I don't think that's going to work, Columba. What if you tied a vine to an elephant's testicles? No, Columba, that's not going to work. How about if a virgin sits on my face?
Maybe.
All right, Columba, whatever. I don't know. You're just making it up as you go.
Oh, my God.
With a promise that his soul would be safe, a monk named Odran, Columba's son or brother. What?
His own son or brother? Like
volunteered,
somebody related to him.
And then in parentheses it says, or was volunteered.
Was voluntold.
To be buried alive. So he was. When that dirty work was done, the folks above ground finished the chapel. After some time, Columba started to miss Odran.
Oh, my God.
I really miss my son.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't buried him alive and sacrificed for the foundation of the temple.
Make a fucking building, you know.
And then it says, or one day the dead and back to life Orange shoved his face up through a wall and began to talk.
What?
Now we're talking. This is somebody doing some mushrooms there. Scottish mushrooms.
I've seen people on the wall talking before too, but man, woof.
And came back to life. I'm going to have to say, once again, I don't consider that much of a resurrection. Because there's a lot of weird stuff in there. Someone was doing some heavy drugs.
Heavy drugs.
All right, number 5, Thomas à Kempis. In Life, Catholic monk Thomas à Kempis wrote The Imitation of Christ, which everyone agreed was a pretty good and pious publication. Sometime after his death, church authorities began to think Thomas would make a good saint. They exhumed his body with plans to go forward with his canonization, but were bummed to find scratch marks inside the coffin lid.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Tom.
They killed him.
And splinters beneath his nails.
Let's hope to whatever that
Is
they
this
did give
true?
him a sainthood.
He was denied canonization.
What?
He couldn't. I mean, a saint would be able to get out of that.
I guess.
I mean, after you buried him alive, at least make him a saint.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Give
The
him some
saint
sort of
broken nails or something.
posthumous, like, consolation prize or
That's-
something.
I want to know if that's true. That's one of the creepiest stories I've ever read in my life.
What kind of posthumous consolation prize would you take?
I don't know. Just like pop it open, like, what the hell? There's
guess-
scratch marks on this coffin.
Must have been rats.
Smells like cigarettes in here.
He had some time to kill.
Thomas been doing in the coffin.
We can't be a saint.
All right. I don't know how to pronounce the name NG. That's a Taiwanese name, isn't it? How do you do that? Or is it Nga? Or Inga?
I don't know. It's Win.
I always wonder.
Win has the Y in it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, NG Sweethawk.
All right.
That's the name.
Sweetheart.
April 2011. Oh, this is a recent one. All right. Let's see what here. After getting into fisticuffs with his own brother, again with the brother, 65-year-old Sweethawk. I want to be named.
That's not nice. You're making fun. You don't even know how.
How does his mother call him for dinner? Just go outside and go.
Stop. Oh, my God. You're being so offensive right now.
I think Frankenstein wants you again. All right. He sustained injuries so bad that not even a ventilator machine could revive him. Doctors at a Penang, Malaysia hospital did CPR on his body for 45 minutes. By the way,
Wow.
I'm sorry to everybody named. But around 11 a.m., they gave up and pronounced him dead. 2.5 hours later, he started to breathe again.
They did CPR for
2.5.
45 minutes.
That's what it says.
And dude didn't breathe.
And then 2 hours later, he did.
And then
I think that's just being stubborn. I'm not sure he came back to
It's
life.
just like, this is what you get for naming me. Mm.
That's why I'm called.
No. This is so, oh my God. We're so offensive.
No one in Malaysia listens to this podcast.
You don't know that?
They do. Welcome to everyone named.
No.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm
All right,
going
number 7.
home.
A Colombian woman. She doesn't even have a name, just Colombian woman. February 2010, after falling ill from a serious condition, a 45-year-old woman in Cali, Colombia, was declared dead. I don't feel good. She's dead.
She's dead.
Staff at a medical clinic signed her death certificate, and her body was transferred to a funeral home to be prepared for her burial, just as a worker went to inject her lifeless limbs with formaldehyde.
Oh my God.
The woman miraculously began to breathe and move again.
I thought that before they put formaldehyde in you, they actually took your organs out.
Maybe
Don't
were
they
gonna-
do that?
I don't. Not in Colombia.
Okay. I don't know how that works.
Anyway, described by Dr. Just kidding. All right, number 8, South African grandfather. An 80-year-old man in the Eastern Cape died due to complications from an asthma attack.
That sucks. Oh my God, that sucks.
I know. His family called the morgue to come fetch his body, which was then locked in a refrigerated compartment to cool.
So they
With the beer.
came to fetch it. Does that mean that they threw it a few times first and let him go get it and bring it back?
Guess. Fetch.
And then they had to be like, drop it, drop it.
21 hours later, while the family... This is what you can expect when you listen to this podcast, to all the new people out there. Everyone out there.
No.
And you people named...
No.
21 hours later, while the family was meeting to discuss funeral arrangements, workers at the morgue heard someone yelling for help.
Yeah.
Open the refrigerator!
I'm cold.
It's cold!
I'm cold.
Bring a jacket!
But the beer is good.
Thinking it was a ghost. What the... These people...
Help me.
Get Get me out of the refrigerator. Did you hear that ghost?
Must have been a ghost.
There's a ghost in the refrigerator. What the hell's going on in this village? They called the police for backup. Upon their arrival, the cops released the reanimated corpse. The cops are just like, that's not a ghost.
You locked somebody in a fridge.
Your grandfather. Your grandfather's in the Frigidaire.
I don't know.
Right?
It sounds a little skeptical to me. I'm like, maybe they wanted Grandpa's money.
I'm thinking at this point, just go find another family because these people, you don't want them taking care of you.
No, because they clearly can't.
All right, number 9, Saudi mom.
Saudi
mom.
Saudi mom.
Saudi mom.
Not Saudi. Saudi. She's not Saudi. If she's Saudi, then, that's
In
her thing.
2009, during cesarean section delivery in Kuwait City Hospital, a woman in labor was pronounced dead. Her grief-stricken husband was handed her death certificate along with their new baby.
Here's your baby, and here's your dead wife.
Here's the baby.
Oh, my God.
The baby was born with birth defects. Oh, my goodness. The guy's like, I can't believe my luck.
Right.
The would-be mother's body was whisked off to the morgue where it was locked up with the hospital's other losses for the day.
Other losses?
This is really weirdly written.
That's a loss.
2 hours later, the woman was struck with life again.
Struck with life.
But in a very dark place. Very cold
in a deep, dark place.
She screamed and banged on the door of the deep freezer.
Oh, my gosh.
Somebody's grandfather let her out.
Right.
I've been in there. I know what it's like.
I know what's happening.
Until they finally got her out. Why did these things... blah, blah, blah. And upon her release, the woman's husband was called back from the hospital to return her death certificate, which he was not allowed to keep as a souvenir.
And then retrieve his wife.
And as a joke, they were like, and your kids don't even have birth defects. What do you think of that?
They're prosthetics.
Here, let's take these off.
But
Oh, man. No one's going to listen to this podcast
That's just
anymore.
Jacked up.
Number 10, old Polish lady. June 2009, a man called an ambulance when his 84-year-old wife fainted. The emergency service doctor declared the woman dead and sent her to the morgue.
Just looked at her, said she's old, she's fainted, she must be dead.
She lay deceased for several hours in line, waiting to be embalmed and whatnot, but the Holy Spirit hopped into her again. Morticians noticed the woman's body bag moving, unzipped it, and vital functions were operating again.
That sounds very much like the movie, what is it? Oh, what the hell is the name of the movie?
It just sounds fake to me because there's nothing on here. There's no, like, you don't know the woman's name. You don't know the village it happened. It's all very vague.
So you're sitting in the morgue and suddenly the body bag starts moving.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's moans coming from the body bag.
Uh-huh.
And the body bag is rustling. And
Do you open it up or you get out a baseball bat? Because
and start bashing.
yeah, it's just like we can, there's going to be some kind of a lawsuit here unless we do this.
Yeah, because
we can take care of it.
or a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Depends which route you take.
All right, number 11, Duns Scotus. I don't know what this means. Duns Scotus. Scottish theologian John Duns Scotus died of apoplexy. Apoplexy. Do we know what that is?
Apoplexy?
In November 1308, in Cologne, Germany, he was buried in a tomb in the chapel of the Franciscan Church. Some years later, his vault was opened again, and Scotus was found outside of his coffin. He got out. After his resurrection from the dead, he had tried hard to open the tomb from the inside, but to no avail.
And that could have been Jesus' fate.
His hands were torn and covered in blood.
But he said, I'll be back. So they were waiting for him.
Yeah.
If this guy had just told somebody, if he'd sent that fucking email, somebody would have shown up to open the door.
Those are the creepiest ones, though, when they
Yeah.
go check. And I mean, there's a lot of legends about that. I think we did one for during the Life in a Kilt podcast, the Kilt of Horrors. There was like somebody died and then they had been scratching at their coffin or something.
Yeah, that's creepy. It's creepy. It's creepy.
All right, and
But
finally, number
happens.
12, Rasputin. Nobody likes to know it all, and rumored psychic Rasputin was no exception, though he was murdered several times.
What? Murdered?
What it says.
How many times can
The
you be
Russian
murdered?
mystic stubbornly returned to the realm of the living time and time again. On June 29th, 1914, his first murderer, a former prostitute named Gusiva.
Gusiva.
I gotta go Siva.
I gotta go see that.
Stabbed Rasputin in the belly until his tummy parts came spilling out.
Tummy parts.
Satisfied with the work, she proclaimed, I have killed the Antichrist. But he came back.
How many tummy parts came out? And was it just his dinner
I don't know.
that spilled out through the hole?
I don't know. December 16th, 1916, a group of Rasputin's frenemies fed him cake and wine laced with enough cyanide to kill 5 men. Rasputin must have been an asshole. No one
wanted him alive.
I'm sorry. He didn't die or even gag. One whipped out a gun and shot him in the back. He hit the floor dead, and conspirators left to celebrate. When they returned, he was alive again, eating the cake. Apparently, I don't know.
He liked the taste of cyanide.
Rasputin was resurrected again. The guy murdered him for the 3rd time by beating him with clubs, allegedly cutting off his penis. Rasputin's penis was cut off. They tied him up, wrapped him in a blanket, and dumped his body in the river. A few days later, his body was pulled from the river, and he was dead. But his arms were outstretched, which means he'd come back to life again, at least long enough to break free of his restraints. Water was found in his lungs, evidence he was alive for some time in the water. The autopsy report, I would say chop his head off quickly.
Once water is in your lungs, you're no longer alive in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a thing, right?
And his body was burned in the woods, and they say he sat up in the fire and tried to move around.
No.
That's a legend there.
That's a load of bullshit.
I don't know about Rasputin, but anyway, there you go. Those are your resurrections. If you need more than Jesus, there's some other ones.
Just in case you don't believe the Jesus story, you can believe the Rasputin story.
I kind of feel like that it would. I probably would be more religious if Jesus' name was.
Stop. Just stop.
And the name of the Father, the Son, and yeah. There you
wow.
go.
That's interesting shit there.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what that is.
I can't say most of those. I think a lot of them were misdiagnoses. I just don't think, and a lot of it's legend. I'm not convinced that anyone's ever resurrected from the dead.
Okay.
It's kind of dumb to think about it. In my book,
do you have a book?
I do.
Okay.
The Gospel According to. But I just feel like that there's not enough evidence for me to believe that anything or any person has come back from the dead.
Right.
It just doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't seem possible. And when we talk about resurrection, we talk about death.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the stories, as you proved, were back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So people didn't really understand death maybe as much as we do now.
Right.
You cannot be able to breathe. You cannot be able to respond. You cannot have a whole lot of activity going on below the head. But if there's still activity happening in the brain, they still consider you alive.
Yeah. But there's a lot of cool things like the Shroud of Turin. That whole thing was, it according to description,
right?
It could only happen if like this great energy energy burst happened,
sure,
and made this image on the shroud, which they say would have happened when Jesus was resurrecting or whatever. So anyway, it's all interesting,
like beams shooting out of him or something.
Interesting to think about. Interesting to consider.
So I've been playing this game.
Okay.
Just to totally change the subject.
Yeah.
With zero segue.
Okay.
I have been playing this game.
Mm-hmm. What's the game?
My entire life, I've been playing this game.
Wow, that's a long game.
And I have some cheat codes for you.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not about to get sued by giving these out.
Is this stuff that other people are going to know? Because I don't know anything about games.
I know you don't know anything
You could make up a game and tell me it's an actual game, and I'll believe it, because I don't know. I don't really know. And you can tell me these are cheat codes, and I wouldn't know.
Okay, so I have some cheat codes for you. So for those of you that have played this game,
pay attention.
Uh-huh. Because this will really, really help you.
Okay.
Okay, so the game I've been playing my entire life, off and on,
yes,
is...
I'm worth something.
Actually, no. I think... Fuck you. You.
That might have been the meanest thing I've ever said to any person
ever
in the world.
And you picked me. I feel so special.
It was kind of funny too.
It was actually kind of funny. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's a game you've been playing with yourself.
It's a game I've been playing.
For your whole life.
Something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But there are no cheat codes on that one.
Just to prove myself wrong every time. So do I win if I prove myself wrong?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm not worth anything. Okay, so So the game I've been playing, I believe that a lot of our listeners, several of our listeners, actually play this game too. So
Okay.
I have some cheat codes to hand out to those people. And I think they'll appreciate this. The game is called Try Not to Drink Too Much and Pass Out on the Couch. That's the game.
Is this a real game?
It's a game I play.
Okay.
So the attributes you can open with these cheat codes
Okay.
are called pain,
Pain.
yes,
Okay.
hangover,
All right.
and guilt.
I've had a few of those.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the cheat codes to open these attributes.
All right.
Okay, they open randomly on their own occasionally,
Yes.
but the cheat codes will help you open these every single time.
All right.
All right, so the game is played by getting drunk and passing out on the couch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You win if you wake up between 2 and 5 a.m. on the couch.
Between two. Okay.
Okay.
And probably will.
That's how you win.
Yes.
One of the cheat codes,
Everyone's a winner.
right? One of the cheat codes is pretty obvious. The pain cheat code is if you simply stay in a seated position while playing the game, you will open that attribute upon waking up. Because if you don't lay down and you're just sitting there and you pass out, you will have pain.
Yes.
When you wake up between
That's
2 and 5.
true.
Right? So that's a cheat code there. Just keep sitting. Don't lay
Okay.
down. Okay. So the hangover cheat code is a little bit trickier. You have to intentionally not eat or drink water.
Oh.
So you can't water or feed your character for a good 5 to 8 hours prior to playing.
No, that's
No
no
water,
fun at
no
all.
food. No water, no food.
That's
okay?
no fun at all.
Right? And then if you do so, you wake up between 2 and 5 a.m. on the couch, the hangover, it will act that attribute will open for you.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's a thing.
And you win.
Yeah, and you win. Now you have the hangover attribute. Okay?
What do you win?
The,
I don't want to know.
The cheat code that I would like to share with our listeners today is exciting. It's one that I've learned very recently, even though I have used it in the past and I didn't realize it worked every single time because I thought it was just a random opening attribute. But what it is, the cheat code is prior to playing the game, you tell yourself you're not going to get drunk and pass out on the couch. Tell yourself that. Say it out loud to yourself, or even better, to another person.
I'm not going to get drunk and pass on the couch.
Exactly. Prior to playing.
That didn't even sound drunk. That sounded
No, this is before playing.
like I've been hit in the head.
You have been. But this is just before you even start playing. Okay? That way, as soon as you wake up between 2 and 5 a.m. on the couch, having gotten drunk and passed out, the guilt attribute opens immediately and you get all the points.
Nice.
Right? So there's some cheat codes for you.
Cool.
That's how you play the game. And please use those cheat codes and thank me for it later.
Okay. I needed a cheat code because I haven't been that bad in a long time. But the bed spinning around, that kind of thing. That's what I needed cheat codes for.
No, I bypass spins completely. I've learned to just move straight past the spins. I'm passed out well before the spins.
I wish I could. That always just gets me nauseated.
You just have to drink faster.
Speaking of nauseated, let's talk about beer.
Let's talk about
this
it.
beer right here.
Oh, hey,
What?
before we discuss what we think of this beer,
Uh-huh.
if you can hear my dog chewing in the background, I apologize, but I would like to take a moment
Yes.
and wish you a happy 57th birthday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's this week.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
There comes a point-
Mr. President.
I never really thought that this would happen, but there just comes a point where you just don't really care anymore.
Well, it's your birthday. Go, Richard. It's your birthday. I just called you Richard
Yeah, why would you do that?
because Rick doesn't have 2 syllables.
Yeah. Okay, it's my birthday. Sure.
If you would like to send Rick a gift for his birthday, please feel free to do so. Or if you would just like to say, hey, Rick, happy birthday.
For those who listen, who started listening during the Life and Kill podcast, that's 7 years when I started doing the kilt thing 7 years ago.
He was 50.
50. I turned 50, so that was 7 years ago.
Yes.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
I've kind of forgot a lot about it. I was a young man then.
We've moved
It was
on.
Back when I was a youngster.
We have moved on.
Yeah.
But you can send us an email to thisepicdisaster@gmail.com.
That's true.
Or you can send him a direct message on What? Facebook?
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
Whatever.
Just say, hey, Rick.
We
happy
like
B-Day.
messages. We love getting messages.
Happy B-Day. Send him
We like
an emoji of a really hairy, large man in Speedos wishing him a happy birthday.
No, I'm just,
I might like that.
J-Lo's
actually.
butt. That's a good meme
That's a good one.
for a birthday for a 57-year-old man.
Speaking of email, we did get an email.
We did. We got a little email this week.
From a listener. That listener is the Stalker.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Stalker sends us an email. She says, "Hello, Cheri and Rick. Thank you for putting me first. I so appreciate that. First off, I love your podcast, and that is in all caps, by the way.
That's nice. At least someone does.
Thank you for that. Many times I want to give my 2 cents to what you're discussing. I try, but you can't hear me.
That's not the first time someone has said that.
And it might be the same person.
No, this is a different. Somebody has told me that they talk a lot to the.
They talk to us.
Yes.
Or try and get
Yes.
get a word in edgewise.
And that's cool. I found myself doing that when I listen to podcasts, and then I feel really dumb. It's
but
just
that's
like,
a normal feeling for you.
no,
Yeah,
I
I
rarely
think it
feel
is.
dumb.
Okay. So
I should probably, but I don't.
How do you feel right now?
I'm okay.
Okay. So she goes on to say, so my thoughts on the movie The Dirt.
Oh yeah,
Because we discussed that on our last
Motley
podcast.
Crue bio film.
The Netflix Dealey Bob thing. She says, I enjoyed the movie very much, and
Oh,
I
wow.
thought it was hysterical.
there were some kind of interesting. There were some funny moments that I'm not sure they meant for it to be funny.
She says, even when it wasn't supposed to be funny, because of her sick humor, she thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
She says about the word dude, which we also discussed. She says, I used to say this saying all through middle school and high school, and I still like saying it. She graduated in 1990, and she said it all through high school and all through middle school. So it's not a 90s thing. I so told you it was an 80s thing, and you didn't believe me.
I think she's remembering something wrong.
She's not.
I don't think that happened.
Maybe not on this side of the nation.
If she's watching Motley Crue, that means she probably did a lot of drugs when she was younger, and she just doesn't remember things.
No, that's
she
me.
doesn't remember things accurately.
Just shut up.
I just don't think.
I said dude in junior high.
No.
And it kills you.
Junior high would have been way late 90s for you.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you're going a little senile.
No, I remember.
I graduated high
remember
school in
strictly
1992.
I remember things really well.
92.
Yeah.
Jesus. You're awful. I'm going to continue with the stalker's letter.
Okay.
She says, I think it would be fun if you did a live Facebook show.
We do need to do that.
So your listeners could chime in
Yeah, it's been so
while
long.
we're doing a show.
I think we need to plan very soon. We need to do that.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do that. She says, I know I would, meaning she knows she would.
Yeah.
I am sure you would all tell me to shut up after a while.
No,
But
I don't think so.
I've rarely told her to shut
No,
up.
we like people to participate and say things to us.
Once in a great while, I'm like, just
That's
shut
how we
up.
would do it.
But not often.
Let's say we will do it with before a month is up.
More
within
often
the
than
next-
not, I'm trying to tell her to speak up,
when,
not shut
in the
up.
next 2.5 weeks. Let's say we'll do it. 2.5, 3 weeks.
We can say that all day long.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
So that is my suggestion. Also, thank you for making my Mondays worthwhile. You are both great at this podcast thing that you do. That thing you
Awesome.
do. She sends us her mailing address, and she would like a sticker.
Oh yeah, we need to send some stickers to her.
She says, why I don't have one, I don't know.
Why doesn't everyone have a sticker? Well, here's the deal. If
All
you
she
don't,
had to do was get in my glove box when she was visiting me. She'd have
I
a sticker.
know.
And she doesn't have a sticker.
If you want a sticker and you don't have stickers, we give stickers free. All
We
you
do.
got to do is send us your mailing address. We send it to you. We don't sell mailing address. We don't collect them. We don't even have a mailing list or anything because we don't do things correctly.
Even if you're our friend, we don't remember your mailing address.
No, but we will take your mailing address. We will send you free stickers, and you can do whatever you want. You just stick them.
Stick them on your butt.
Well, if that's what you like to do.
Stick it on your butt.
Stick it on your butt. Send us a picture.
I might stick a sticker on my
This
butt.
epicdisaster@gmail.com. A picture of a sticker on your butt. We're also on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on all kinds of stuff. We're on everywhere. We're here and there and everywhere.
And we have a dog.
We have a dog. We have a puppy who is bored and doesn't want to be in the studio. So we should probably close it down.
Let's do that before I kill her.
We got to talk about the beer real quick.
Okay, so this beer is Maudite, and it's by Unibroue, 8% alcohol by volume.
Yep.
It is a Belgian-style double ale. Tell me your thoughts.
I'm giving it a 4.
I like it.
I like it. Mine is gone.
Mine is very close to being gone. The only reason it isn't is because I've been fighting with my dog this entire time.
It's between a 3.5 and a 4, but I'm going to go ahead and push it over and give it a 4.
I would absolutely do the same. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Wow, you give it a little extra boost in there.
Foe and a coda.
I would say buy it if you can. I got 2 more in there. You can take one home if you want.
I'm gonna.
It's a good beer. Thanks for hanging out with us, people. If you got anything you'd like for us to talk about, send it suggestions. We're open to suggestions.
We love suggestions.
There's a lot of things.
We're very suggestive.
We're working on some interviews which are coming up, which I hope you'll be interested in.
We'll see.
We'll see. We're trying new things, and we love it when you hang out and listen to the new things that we try. Hey, guess what?
What?
I just put up, this has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
I normally don't like to do self-promotion, but I'm promoting myself.
Good for you.
I just put up my new art store. It is Rick Baldwin Studio Shop rickbaldwinstudioshop.com.
Nice.
And it's still being formulated. I still got stuff up. There's some work that's got to be done, but you can see some new stuff, and some even newer stuff will be coming up soon.
Sweet.
So if you want to look at my art and you maybe might want to buy some of my art, you can go there. You don't have to buy to look. Looking is free.
I am lucky in that I don't have to buy.
No.
But you do. So if you want a piece of Rick's art, either, be really, really nice to me and buy me dinner, or buy some.
Yeah. And there are some cheap stuff on there too.
Sweet.
Because I make cheap stuff.
You do.
But anyway, so that's self-promotion. But we always like for you to do this epic disaster promotion. We do have some T-shirts out, which you can find on our website at thisepicdisaster.com. You can buy T-shirts, Disaster Baiter T-shirts. You can buy the T-shirt of the cartoon of you and I,
which is cute.
Yeah.
Even though my hair isn't actually purple anymore.
No,
listeners.
your hair's totally changed.
My hair is not purple.
We need to do a live show so everybody can see what your hair looks like.
Because that's a thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to say goodbye now. For all you people who joined us, we really do thank you. Tell your friends. Maybe post something on Facebook about the show if you like it. Share it with your friends.
Let me ask you this,
yes.
and we would like some response to this question.
What would that be?
Listeners, if we opened a Patreon, would you join it?
A Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah.
And if we did, what would you like to see in it?
And what would you like to get from it? We're pondering that.
Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah.
So let us know. If we get nothing from you, we won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go from there.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening.
And we will see you this time
next week.
Around this time next week.
Eventually.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.